So starting off with kind of a basic question. So when did you first decide that you wanted to pursue voice acting and why?
Well, actually, my voice acting career really kind of blossomed here in Chicago. I used to work at a bar called the Burwood Tap. And there was a gentleman that used to come in. He was one of my regulars. His name was Jeff. And he was an ad agency executive. I was taking classes at the time at Second City Improv, doing improv theater. And I wasn't really thinking beyond that too much. I was just like learning how to, create characters and be on stage theatrically. And he asked me if I wanted to come in to do some scratch tracks for the ad agency. So I was like, sure. So I went in, I did like the voice of a Cabbage Patch doll for them. And he was like, you're really good at this. You should consider doing it like for a living. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah. So they would bring me in to do some stuff. And then I started really kind of delving more into it because my background was radio and television production at Michigan State. I got a degree in production from there. And I worked at a talent agency, booking talent throughout college. So I had the background like behind the scenes, and I dabbled a little bit in it just for fun. But then I really started thinking about it, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll pursue it further. So on top of the improv theater, I started taking voiceover classes to learn mic technique and, character development for voiceover and commercial stuff, which is a whole other thing, industrial films. So that's kind of how it started.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So in terms of your first role, it was Fujiko Mie from Lupin the Third. How did that role come about? Because you talked about scratch tracks.
Yeah, actually, that was not my first anime role.
Was it? Oh,
no, that was it was my first big anime role, probably the most well known. But I had been doing anime prior to Fujiko, probably for like 3 years. 2-3 years. So I booked a series of other roles up to that point. And then how did that particular role come about?
Yeah.
Audition. Yeah, I auditioned for that. And funny story, the producer who cast me in that role, it was for Jenny An, I think at the time. Hiroi Sakamoto, she's no longer with us. She cast me as Fujiko in the first iteration of it. And that original cast has stuck, which is really fun.
Going back to Bleach, what is it like to voice Rukia Kuchiki in Bleach again?
Well, it's been an amazing journey, 10 years in the making, We knew that there was the second arc of the story, and we got word that it was being animated in Japan. And then we didn't hear anything about adapting it to English. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, 6 months. We got word, and then 6 months later, I got a phone call saying, we'd like you to come back to reprise your role. And I was like, yes. I felt like it was, a rebirth of the whole show. And it's created this whole other new wave of Bleach fans. It's just generational, and it's amazing.
Thank you for answering.
Yeah.
So let me throw a curveball. So my question will be, My Funky Pony, how did that project come into fruition? I gotta make it a little interesting.
Yeah, no. So My Funky Pony is a puppet show that I co-created and produced and directed with a voiceover friend of mine, Art Kimbrough, who used to do On Camera. He was actually the cop in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
he has that line, oh, he fell for the banana and the old banana in the tailpipe. That's him. So we literally used to do like loop group stuff together.
Okay.
And the sound supervisor would put up on the screen Thuggy 1 and Thuggy 2, like efforts for Thuggy 1, efforts for Thuggy 2. So we started joking about it, saying that we were going to make a puppet show called My Thuggy Pony. I said, we should do a sock puppet show called My Thuggy Pony. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, let's do it. So my neighbor at the time was this amazing producer, director. And he literally, like, we contracted him to do like the set. We got Jim Henson puppeteers. I got this girl, Melissa Doss, to do, she made all of the puppets. She's a Henson puppeteer. I mean, it was just like an amazing from start to finish experience. And Art and I and this other gal, Tara, we wrote the scripts and we did the whole thing in a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
It was just like a fun passion project.
Oh, I mean, I love that. And I love hearing like intriguing, fun, passion
Have you
project.
watched it? Have you watched the show?
I watched a little bit of it. I have not. I haven't continued watching it. Sorry.
It's each episode is like a minute
A minute
or 2 minutes. So the whole thing from start to finish, including the music video that we did, which my husband and his brother did the track to, is like 20 minutes. So
okay,
it won't take a lot of time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I can just like flick through.
Exactly.
Flick it through work. Be like, yeah, I got 10 minutes to spare.
Yeah.
Thank you. I highly appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So if you could hang out with any of the characters that you voiced for a day, who would it be?
Ooh. I think I'd want to hang out with Rukia. She's pretty cool.
She's my favorite anime character.
Yeah.
Biased, but-
Is she? Yeah, I mean, especially if I could like fly with her for, because she could fly. So it'd be fun to hang out and like fly around with her for, a while, see what it's like.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Another iconic role, and it's through Viz Media, you got picked to be Luna in the Sailor Moon
Yes,
series.
I did.
How did that come about, and what are your thoughts? How have you felt playing that iconic character from the Sailor Moon series?
Well, okay, this is a two-part answer. The first part is, I will say, I was very nervous to reprise this beloved role in an anime that had been, already established for so many years. And I was like, because we came back, we did Cosmos, right? And then they were like, well, you're revoicing, we're doing all 200 episodes over again. And I was like, what? No, we can't do that. Like, that's not right. And they were like, well, yeah, it is, because this is the deal. So I found out that the creator, Naoko Takeuchi, actually handpicked the cast. So, and the story goes, I'm not sure, like, this is word of mouth. Lauren Landa told me this, and I'm not sure where she heard it from, that Naoko listened to our slates for our auditions and picked like a lot of the cast from the slates. Like, oh, that's my Luna, that's my Sailor Moon, that's my Sailor Mercury, that's my Sailor Jupiter. So she had a very specific idea, I think, in her head. And when she did Sailor Moon Cosmos, she said, I'm going to do this, but I want to go back and do the story the way I originally intended it to be. Because I feel like when it first came out, in the late 90s, I don't think Western civilization was quite ready for a lot of the content. She was very ahead of her time. So now having it come back, she said, this is the way I want to do it. And I want this story to be told unedited the way I wanted to be told with the voices that I had here in my head for it. So, yeah. So in the end, it's a huge honor. Like, I am extremely honored to play Luna as the English voice for this franchise. Like, it's heaven. Yeah.
You have a long list of characters you've voiced over the years. Can you share your favorite line from any of them?
Well, there's always Yoko. I'll fill y'all full of lead. Me and my big ass gun.
Thank you.
Classic.
So, for now, this film has been an icon in every film and in the industry and anime, movies, Hollywood. Akira.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah.
So, for that to stand the test of time, how does it feel to be part of that project where you're just voicing, most definitely, of course, a role, but did you think that it would stand the test of time of being Kaori in that project, or was it?
I mean, I think I did have an inkling just because we were redoing the film from previous years. So, generally when I think a project comes back like that, it's already got sort of a cult following, in a sense.
Wait, would you like to do that bike slide?
Say again?
Would you like to do that iconic bike slide that Kaneda does? So when he slides.
Oh.
Yeah, because a lot of the films, even like, a lot of the horror films, even the most recent one, he implemented his love for the old school, like Japanese anime. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of films recently, like over the past maybe 5 6 years, are very heavily influenced by anime.
Oh, yes.
Very heavily influenced.
Guillermo del Toro. I just watched a recent documentary
Mhm.
for even just, I know this is prevalent to Blade, but technically his, the whole premise of Blade, even though it's comic books, he wanted to implement actual anime
Yeah.
into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
Well, I appreciate for that.
Yeah, of course.
So, what character do you feel like took you most out of your comfort zone?
Ooh. Well, there's different. Let's see. How can I word this? There's vocal comfort zones, and then there's topic comfort zones, right? Probably vocally, Chi was pretty difficult. Also Yuki Nagato from Haruhi, vocally. Topic-wise, young Satoru from Erased. Just the theme and the topic of that anime. It's one of my favorite animes that I've worked on. But it was heavy, very heavy. And then also Princess Euphemia from Code Geass, which I feel was very ahead of its time. But talk about one of the most difficult scenes to play in anime, the things that had to come out of my mouth in order to portray this character were really brutal. And the fact that she ends up, I don't want any spoiler alerts. The thing that she does in the end is really terrible. So that was very tough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For some of a lot of different roles, you brought up Yoko as well, and that scene. Which one do you feel is the one that best represents your career? Yeah.
What, my characters?
No, yeah, out of the characters, which one do you feel is like a little bit more defining for you?
Oh boy. That's a really good question. You guys are coming up with some damn fine questions. I'm impressed. Oh, I'm going to say Rukia. And the reason why is because she's just become such an iconic character, I think, in anime. And I know Bleach is considered one of the big three. And getting to be a part of that is like crazy, you know. Like I feel lucky and blessed to get to voice her, and I feel really connected to her on other levels. Like she's not like there's certain aspects of her that I really resonate with. So I would say Rukia for sure.
Can you share a favorite behind the scenes story from your time working on your long list of history in this industry? And can you share like why that's your favorite behind the scene?
Let me think. Well, it's funny. You brought up Lupin earlier as like my first role. I will say Lupin, the very first series, I think it was the second series we did first, was probably the most fun I've had. And it was just like this, you know, Richard Epcar was writing and adapting. And we would just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And like some of the jokes that he would come up with. And I think he does like a panel at conventions with bloopers from our recording during that time, which I have not heard, but I know there's some stuff in there that I would probably be like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. So yeah, it would have to be during definitely those first like year or two of Lupin.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
No, so it's a big thing in anime culture where they like to kind of combine two worlds like Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, and crossover. Mm-hmm. So out of all the animes that you worked with, which characters would you like to finally coexist in one world and have them meet each other? The ones you voiced.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't really thought about that. It'd be kind of fun to have Cream the Rabbit from Sonic meet like Yoko. You know? That would be kind of an interesting, weird mashup for those two worlds, wouldn't it?
Yes. It would be a fun interaction. That's for sure.
It would, for sure.
But thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so while you're growing up as a kid, was there any characters' voices that you would mimic? Or any that you hoped that you wish you could have voice acted for?
You know, when I was a kid, I wasn't thinking about being an actor. I did theater. I did like local theater and I loved it, but I wasn't like, I'm gonna be an actor. Like my mom was like, you're gonna be a doctor or you're gonna like go be a physical therapist or a psychologist. Like she had a heart attack when I moved to Chicago to like, you know, pursue improv theater. And then when I moved to LA, she was like, what's going on? Like they were really worried about me. So, I mean, you know, as kids, it's like always in my room with my Barbie dolls and playing, you know, funny voices, but I don't really have a recollection of any of that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You go. Oh, no. Oh, here. Okay, so for my final question. For every convention, you know, they always try to put accumulate a grand stars of voice actors and to pull off an amazing convention. For any of the voice actors that you've worked with, which one would you like to have where it's like, oh, it's going to be this specific anime and all of us are get together because due to the, you know, time constraints of everyone's work schedule, which one would you have to be like, oh, I want this specific anime and get everyone together from voice acting and also Japanese acting as well?
Oh my God, I would love to meet the Japanese actor for Rukia. I mean, hands down, I would love to meet her. I actually got invited to Kuwait, I think, was it? well, Kuwait. And I turned it down because I was shooting a short film. This was last weekend. And then I found out afterwards that she was going to be there. So I missed a chance to meet her, but I'm hoping that that happens down the road. I think it would be phenomenal to get the Bleach cast together from both sides. And oh my God, I would love to meet
I think that that's a lot of,
Chicho.
I mean, in the forums and just anything. I mean,
Oh.
we both love voice actors, both Japanese and English, but it would be amazing to have, even on a poster, English, Japanese, and,
Oh my-
and everyone
yeah.
that was incorporated in the project. Not just the voice actors, but you know, obviously the artists and everyone that put the
The
sound.
creator.
everything.
That would be a dream come true. Yeah, I would love to go to Japan. I've never been. That's like a bucket list. That would be cool to go there and meet the voice actors. Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's my final question. For
Yeah.
you. I don't know about my other colleagues if they would like to finish off.
Just have one more.
Yeah.
So, who's someone that inspired you as a performer?
Oh boy. There's so many, you know. When I first got to LA, I really looked up to Mona Marshall a lot. And Mona, do you know who Mona is?
No.
She's been in the business a long time. She's on South Park. She does all of the female voices for South Park. But this woman is the most gracious, kind, generous person on the planet. And I would call her and ask her 5 million questions all the time. And she would answer them and be so kind and so patient with me. And I just really looked up to that. And I try and pay that forward as much as I can. But also she's super talented. So in the voiceover realm, I would say her as an actor, like I was always so taken with Alan Rickman. You know, he's no longer with us, but I just loved his style and his he was just so incredible as an actor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you're excited about that you're okay sharing with everyone?
Let's see. Well, the new Bleach video game is coming, which I just found out about that I can talk about. And so that'll be fun. And that was cool because it's kind of a rewind of Arc 1. So I was like, dang, I feel like I'm just like in review right now of everything that happened in Arc 1 of Bleach. So that's fun. And then I am directing an original animated project called Aurora. It's Aura. Aurora. He spells it odd. I think that's the spelling. And Johnny Youngbosch is our lead. I'm in it. Steve Bloom is in it. Jeremy Lee plays the lead girl. We've got Ray Chase, John Eric Bentley. Yeah, it's an all-star cast. So we recorded the pilot last October? We recorded the pilot. I voice directed. And it's going to be airing in October. So that's coming the pilot. And then we're going to jump into episode 2 and 3. So I think he's trying to gain viewership on YouTube. So it's Aurora Official if anybody's watching and they want to check it out. His artwork is really cool. It's like this old school kind of throwback to like early 2000s anime. He's definitely anime inspired. So that's really fun. And then I am directing. I just finished Jimmy King Academy season 2, core 2. And then I'm directing something else that I can't talk about that I'm super excited about. And yeah, I've got a couple other things coming, but I can't say.
Thank you.
One of them is pretty big. 2 of them are pretty big, but I don't think they've been announced, so.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time, and you guys, thank you for answering all my colleagues' questions.
Yeah,
Please
thank you,
enjoy
everybody.
Anime Magic 2024.
Thank you. Thanks for the great questions. I appreciate not having the same questions. You guys really were creative. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.